had the craziest experience buying something off of Facebook Marketplace the other day, and I just need to tell you guys about it. I feel like just by saying that, you guys can assume that this was an experience, like a very culturally awakening experience. Because the other day my cousin texted me and she's like, I need a dog crate. Like, I just had my dog ruin our crate. Like, we need to find a crate and I don't want to spend $1 million on it. Obviously, knowing me, her broke ass cousin, she's gonna text me. She knows I know how to pinch a penny. I know how to get a deal. Do you know what I mean? I was like, you know what? No problem. I'll go right on Facebook Marketplace and I'm gonna find you a crate for like $30. We're gonna be so happy. It's gonna be an extra large. It's gonna be amazing. I'm looking, I'm lowballing, I'm messaging people. I'm like, I'm willing to offer you $20 right now. No one's taking me up on the offer. Apparently, extra large dog crates are actually really expensive. So the lowest I could find one for was $50. $50, and it was like 40 minutes away. So I was like, oh, we can make a cute little trip out of it. Like, we can hang out and drive there and like be cute about it. And the crate looked good. It looked like a normal crate, like a fucking dog crate. Like, what? I texted to my cousin. I sent her a picture. She's like, perfect. Let's go do this after I'm out of work. We'll go. And I'm like, yay, I'm so excited. I text the lady and I'm like, okay, I'll be there in an hour and a half, you know, whatever. She's like, perfect. I'll be here. I'm like, okay, yay. Then I text her when I'm leaving and I say, okay, I'm 40 minutes away. She's like, perfect, whatever. Okay. Mind you, the place to which we're driving in upstate New York is kind of well known for being like the headquarters of like the Breaking Bad substance. But I'm not here to judge, right? I'm just here for a simple transaction. Give me the dog crate. I'll give you the $50. We'll go about our day. We get all the way out there and I'm like, okay, we're here. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm 40 minutes away. I'll be there soon. Why the fuck didn't you tell me that sooner? Why didn't you let me know that at all? Like, cool, we'll go to Target. We'll go to Target. We'll go have a nice time. She needs to get cash out anyways. Fine. She's kind of pressed for money. She's trying to find the cheapest ATM she can find, right? So we go to Target because I'm like, they got cash back. We go on the self-checkout lane and I'm like, okay, I'll get a bag of Cheetos for the cash back. Apparently self-checkout doesn't have cash back. Wasted $2 on Cheetos, but I did eat them. We turn our happy asses right back around and we go through the cash out line and she is literally looking at us like we're insane. I'm like, lady, have you never seen two broke girls try to find a way to avoid a ATM fee? Like, is this so weird? Anyways, we leave, we get the cash back, and we're on our way, and she has me type in the address, and if you know me, I'm probably not the best person to ask to give directions ever. I type in the address, and we're on our way, and we're getting closer and closer to this motel that is, like, out of zombie land. We're both just kind of like, as we get closer, we're like, this better not be where we're meeting them. This better not be where we're meeting them. And then it's the motel, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, and we pull in, and there's 6 naked men sitting in lawn chairs outside of the goddamn motel, and it's literally something out of, like, Zombieland. They're staring at us like we're meat, like we're a fucking Chipotle burrito, like they're ready to munch down on us. I'm just sitting there like, drive. She's so mad. She's like, Emily, you get me in the worst situations every time. Like, Emily, what are you doing? I look at the address and I'm like, oh my God, I typed in the wrong address. It's actually like 4 houses down. So we pull up and we're getting closer and closer to this really fucking beat down trailer, which to me felt more normal. I'm like, I don't care, like this is whatever. But as we get closer, we start to notice like this trailer is terrifying. We like pull in and we're like, hi, and she's like, hey, and we're like, oh my fucking God. And I'm not making fun of this lady, right? Like, to each their own. I'm not judging this lady at all. I'm just kind of like, oh, she seems like such a nice lady. Like 6 dogs are like barking at us behind this broken down fence. I'm like, she seems so sweet. Definitely like in her mid 60s, like definitely older. But the smell emitting from this trailer is like unbearable. I can't quite explain the scent to you. It was kind of like burnt plastic with like a hint of maybe like pouring gasoline. At this point, I can tell by my cousin's body language that she's very uncomfortable and she's a little bit frightened. The first thing the lady says to us is like, the crate doesn't have a bottom, by the way. But you definitely posted it with a bottom inside of it. So I look at the picture and the bottom was a different bottom. What the fuck? I'm sorry. False advertising, thanks. But my cousin doesn't care and she doesn't want to make like a fuss. She doesn't like want to fight with this girl about the price or anything. So she's just kind of like holding her money like, yeah. Out comes the lady's boyfriend, and her boyfriend is my age, and I'm not exaggerating. I start taking a little gander at the crate that we're picking up, and I'm just kind of like looking, checking it over. There is dried, fossilized dog shit to every corner of this crate. And like I said, no bottom, which is kind of necessary in a crate. He starts telling us about how she normally zip ties it. My cousin goes, so the doors don't work either. She's like, no, the doors work just fine, but you should zip tie the bottom because, you know, there's no bottom and they can lay on the zip ties. My cousin's like, I think I'll just put a blanket down, but thank you for the idea. I am not judging this lady. I have actually seen crazier, but my cousin is terrified, which is making it so funny to me. We leave and my cousin is raging at me. She's like, why the fuck would you bring me here? Like, what is wrong with you? I type in the address to get home because, again, it's like 40 minutes away. We got to take the throughway. I am then again tasked with the responsibility of getting us home with the maps. No. My dumbass tells her I know how to get home, too. Like, this is kind of my fault. We maybe pass our exit and then pass another exit and then, like, pass another exit before realizing we had passed our exit. So we are 40 minutes the other way from our house. And she is screaming at me when we realize we passed our exit. She's like, Emily, you are the worst human being in the world. You suck so bad. And I was like, just turn into one of the police turn-ins. Like, turn, you know how you, like, on a highway can, like, turn where the police turn and you're really not supposed to. But we're not paying another toll. Fuck you. We're turning. So I'm like, turn here, turn here, turn here. And we cleaned all the fossilized poop off of this crate and she decided just to live with it. We were bleaching the crate for like 2 fucking hours. And yes, I reported the lady on the Facebook Marketplace because why would you tell me there was a bottom to the crate if there wasn't?
I, male 29, took the V card of a terminally ill 41-year-old woman, and I can't stop thinking about her. I am a bisexual male escort. By the way, my job is legal in my country. My customers are mostly gay men and middle-aged women, so she was in no way a surprise for me. So this woman wanted me to meet her at a hotel room. She specifically booked for us. I already knew a few things about her because of the messages she sent me, like her name, her age, and that she had never had a relationship, let alone that she had with anyone. When we met, we greeted each other, and she had a huge smile on her face. The first rule with my customers is that we get to know each other before we do what we do. We talked for about half an hour, and I found out that she had leukemia and was about to die. She also told me that she has never found a boyfriend because of her looks. She was constantly called ugly and disgusting, and no boy wanted to be near her. And this bullying continued during her adulthood. She always was treated like some kind of weirdo. She just thought that she had to wait for the right one. But after so many years, she lost hope and accepted that she is supposed to be lonely. And now that she's 41 and never had, she felt like she missed on the most beautiful things in life. Her parents died many years ago and she had no one. She was all by herself. The money she wanted to pay me was the money she was about to use for her treatment. But she told me that the doctor said that the treatment would only give her a little bit more time, but not save her life. So she figured she could use it to finally find out what it's like to have. I almost teared up a bit, but I forced myself to stay professional and just listen to what she had to say. When she was done, we did what we did, and afterwards she was smiling big and said she hasn't felt this good in years. She asked me if I could lay down with her and cuddle. She said she'd pay more if I did that, and I said yes. We laid down, turned on the TV, and she laid in my arms. What I assumed to be happy tears were rolling down her face as she snuggled closer to me and closed her eyes. This was the cutest thing I've ever seen. We laid there for 2 hours. She slept in my arms, and I woke her up and told her I had to leave now. She nodded and turned around and grabbed her wallet. I told her she doesn't have to pay me. I gave her my number and offered her to visit me whenever she feels alone and needs someone to be with. It's getting wholesome, right? She visited me 2 times before she died and called me every day. We became friends. I even attended her funeral, and it made me sad how few people were there. She was such a soft and kind-hearted human being. I can't stop thinking about her. She deserved so much better in life. I had so many customers over the years, and many of them had sad stories, but for some reason, her story is the one that stuck with me.
Toxic things I used to do to catch my ex-boyfriend cheating that actually worked. Now, I'm not saying to do these things, I'm just telling you what I did and it worked. Do with that information what you will. Disclaimer, this was when I had no self-respect and dated the worst men. So I had many opportunities, tried many different things, and these were my most successful ones. Okay, so first up is the fake account. I had my old Finsta, so it had some followers on it still, which made it like believable. I made the profile picture an old picture of me, but cropped my head out so you could only see my body. And honestly, when I was like making this account and like about to message him, I was like, there's no way in hell he's gonna believe this. Like, this is actually ridiculous. Like, there's no way. There was a way, there was definitely a way. And he lived in Montreal, and like all the people, like everyone around him, everyone he knew spoke French. It was his first language. So I was like, I have to make this believable. Like, I have to make him think that it really is a girl that lives in Montreal. So I messaged him in French using Google Translate. And he had this friend, let's call him Rob, that was just like always hanging around women, always encouraging my ex to like do some fuck shit. And I messaged him in what I assume would be very broken French because it was fucking Google Translate. And I literally said, hey, I'm not sure if you remember me. I'm Rob's friend. We met a few weeks ago. He said, is this Natalie? I've been waiting for you to reach out. So then I literally have a full-blown conversation with him in French. My Finsta was private, obviously, so he saw no pictures of this girl. Like, he was just literally going off of the fact that some random girl had messaged him, and he was like, oh, this must be Natalie. I cannot believe he had my ass on Google Translate. When I got a Duolingo plan, I knew shit had gone too far. That damn bird, I feel like he yells at me when I miss a day, and I don't want to disappoint him. Another time I caught him cheating was when I used the classic fake texting app. The fake texting app is rookie shit, right? Like, tale as old as time, we've all been there, done that. But I put a little bit of spice on this one So he had gone out the night before and posted a story on Instagram, and in the story I could see that there was a girl in the background. And I noticed that the girl was wearing a red jacket. So when I texted him from the fake number, which I made sure that the area code matched his, I said, hey, did I leave my jacket there with you guys last night? It's red and leather, like let me know if you see it. And he responded and said, is this Laura? I thought I already had your number. And I was like, fuck, I've been caught red-handed. But I had a little trick up my sleeve. I was like, do you not remember when I shattered my phone into a million pieces last night? I have to use my friend's phone until I can go to the AT&T store tomorrow. Works like a fucking charm. And then I was like, okay, I need him to admit stuff, but I don't really know like many details about the night, so I don't really know what to say. So I was like, I'll just say something very general and hopefully he'll tell on himself. So I said, are we just not gonna talk about last night? And he responded, what do you mean? And I was like, fuck, I've been caught. But then he sent another message that said, I know you and Rob, his friend, used to talk, but I promise he doesn't care what we do. And I remember I was hanging out with my friend at the time and she was like, let's ask him to hang out tonight. Let's see if he folds. Folded like a fucking lawn chair. So I kept playing along and I was like, I want to hang out with you. I need to see you tonight. I'm at my friend's place right now. Come through. And I sent him an address. He shows up at the address. It's actually a psychiatric institute. And then I texted him and said, book an appointment, love. And I'm not saying you should do these things. I'm just saying if you do, you should send me a screenshot so we can laugh together. This is actually a different cheating ex than in my previous video because yes, I used to have no self-respect and dated a fucking plethora of awful men. What a fun vocab word. I read one book and don't know how to act. If I've ever dated you, you should probably be behind bars. But at least they did give me good storytime content, so shout out to them, I guess. So I was dating this guy, let's call him Tyler. And we had been dating for a few months and honestly, everything seemed great. And Tyler had this friend group that he would hang out with a lot. And his friend group was one of his really close friends, let's call him Steven. Steven started bringing around this girl to hang out, let's call her Olivia. The first time I met her, I did not have a great first impression. Her and my boyfriend were talking at this party and I had been talking to this other girl, but she ended up leaving, so I was by myself. And so I walked over to the two of them and they're just laughing up a motherfucking storm. So I'm like standing to the side as they're hee-hee and ha-haing. And I said something like, oh, like what did I miss? You know, hoping one of them would like explain to me what the fuck was so funny. Like I like jokes, I wanna laugh too. Olivia goes, long story. I have time. I mean, let's hear it, you know? So I'm like, okay, like shit is weird here. Like something is going on. Like this is just weird. A few days later, Steven has something else at his house and the Olivia girl is there again. And this time Olivia is super nice to me. She's like, I love your outfit. You look so pretty, like just being super nice to me. And I was like, maybe this girl really is nice and I'm just crazy. So her and I start having a really great conversation and my boyfriend and Steven like walk away and leave us two to talk. And as soon as they walk away, the tone switches. She goes from like casual conversation. I think we were talking about like Vampire Diaries. Oh my God, look at my eyebrow. Help. Anyways, we went from like a casual, normal conversation to she starts fucking interrogating me. Like question after question after question after question. And more than just like, where are you from? Like, who are your friends? Like, what do you guys like to do? Where do you like to go? Just like hammering me with so many questions. So I'm like, damn bitch, like badge number? Like, you're clearly in some kind of special forces agency. I just kept thinking like, there's something weird going on here. Like, it's just odd that she would like randomly be interrogating me. Like, the whole thing is just weird. So later that night, we're hanging out at his house and I'm sitting on the couch and he goes to the bathroom. And normally he always took his phone in the bathroom with him, but this time he fucked up and he left his phone sitting right there on the sofa like a fucking gold mine for me to explore. So as soon as the coast is clear, I start going through his phone and I'm searching for the name Olivia in his phone. But I cannot find anything. He doesn't have any contacts named Olivia. I looked on his Instagram, everything was deleted, like he had wiped everything. Everything was gone. And I was like, fuck, I'm probably not gonna be able to find anything, like he's probably deleted it all. But then I was like, I should go through his contacts. So I'm clicking on each contact and going to the messages and I get to Ben and Jerry's. Ben and motherfucking Jerry's. I click on the messages and he was not asking them if they had Rocky Road in stock. It was motherfucking Olivia. He had her saved under Ben and Jerry's. And they had been talking like pretty much ever since they first met. So I'm sitting there reading everything and I'm like, okay, there's two ways we can go about this. Either we can go the makeup streaming down the face, fuck you, like fuck your mom, we can go down that route. Or we could like fuck with his mind a little bit. And I was like, I kind of want to have some fun with it. Like, let's do a little trick, you know? So I put his phone back where it was. I go back to where I was sitting and he comes out of the bathroom and I'm acting completely normal. Like
everything was fine, like having normal conversation with him, like he didn't think anything was up. So I'm like chilling at his house pretending everything's normal, but meanwhile I'm like texting my friend and we're just fucking scheming. Like we're like, here we motherfucking go, like we have something good to work with here. Me and my friend drop off a bowl of ice cream with the sprinkles spelling out "fuck you" on his doorstep with a note included that says "special delivery from Ben and Jerry's." It was such a good delivery, but by the time he opened his door and got the bowl, everything had melted, so you couldn't even see that it spelled out "fuck you," which was like the best part of everything. And then he called me and was like, I'm so sorry, like I don't know why I did that. And the remainder of the conversation, everything he said to me, I just responded as if I was ordering at an ice cream shop. He was like, I'm so sorry, I can't believe I did this, I'll never do this again. And I was like, I'll have a cup of chocolate with like a few sprinkles on top and some gummy bears. And then when he started crying, I was like, would a sundae help?
I used to hate my husband, but now I think I'm falling in love with him. Story time. The title is in fact exactly how it sounds. So when I was 9, I was promised away to a family friend's son. So I was promised away when I was 9, and every year I just absolutely regretted my birthdays. It was 1 year closer to marrying someone I didn't love. So whilst I was counting down the years, I ended up meeting my dream guy. He made me so happy. He made me forget about it all. So eventually and inevitably, I turned 18 and I ended up meeting my husband for the first time. We'll call my husband Steve. I hated Steve. Looking at him made my blood boil. And we got married 2 days after meeting. After the wedding, we didn't do anything. When we went on our honeymoon, he walked into the room and said, listen, I don't love you. Shock horror, Steve. He said, let's have an open relationship. And I was not about to argue. I was actually really quite happy about this because it meant that I could see my other guy, who we'll call Dave. And I was still desperately in love with Dave at this point. So we set out the rules for this arrangement. We had to sleep in the same bed every night, and we weren't allowed to talk bad about each other to our partners. So every year after that, we put on the same act when we went to family events. We were, to everyone else, a loving and respectful partnership. Me and my boyfriend Dave were doing very well. And Steve never properly dated. He was more of like a one-night stand kind of guy. And everything was going okay. That was until I found out that Dave had been cheating on me. Dave had been seeing a girl that he knew from high school. So after I found out, I went home and I cried my eyes out. My husband Steve could hear me crying in the bedroom and he came in to see me. He asked me if everything was okay. And even though at this point I still hated him, I told him everything. Steve then held me in his arms and he held me there for what felt like hours. And after that, me and him got so much closer. And after that, I took a break from dating. Steve was still going on his one-night stands, but we were keeping each other company a lot more. We did movie nights, game nights, he took me on nights out, and then eventually he stopped going on one-night stands. And I never said anything, I never asked why. So the other night, I caught him deleting all of his dating apps. So I sat down with the snacks and he scooted over to me. He scooted just so our shoulders were touching. And I got all nervous and fluttery like I was on a high school date or something. That night whilst we were watching the movie, he got a work call and he had to leave, but he promised me he'd be back as soon as he could. Now, I must have ended up falling asleep on the sofa because I woke up and I was in bed and Steve was cuddling me. After that situation, it's never been the same. The man that I had hated for years and years, the one that I had resented for who I thought he was, turned out to be the exact opposite. Now I have the biggest crush on my husband, and I can't believe it has taken me 3 years to work out that he is not responsible for this marriage. He buys me flowers every week now. And he even bought me an upgrade to my engagement ring. Love you, Steve.
Here's a story time of the worst experience I ever had working at the worst job I ever worked. You're probably wondering, what job was the worst job? You've worked like 20. Yes, I have. Working at gyms is by far, it's of a different breed. I won't say the name of the gym, but I will say it's a purple gym. And it's usually open 24 hours, which means that you're literally in for some bullshit at all times. Like, I can't even explain to you the things that happen after hours. I just don't even. The gym I worked at in particular, though, closed on the weekends at 9 o'clock, right? So get out at 9 o'clock, you know? No, people really thought that that meant, like, get ready to shower at 9 o'clock, like, start getting ready. No, get out of the gym, please. Anywho, we have this lady which we called Naked Mary, and if you were wondering why we called her Naked Mary, I'm about to tell you that. Every time you walked in the locker room, she was naked. I'm talking butt ass badonk naked. And that's no shame to her. Like, do your thing, babe. But when we're giving tours of the gym and telling people they should join, and we just like walk in the locker room and there's a lady butt ass naked, it's like,
All right, well, we have her here too. One night I was working on a Friday, right? And it was closed. It was 9 o'clock. So I was like, Mary, it's time to go. And I hear her in the locker room being like, I'm about to shower. Like, Mary, why do you always have an attitude? Mary, like, keep it to yourself. So I let her shower. I'm like, okay, you got like 15 minutes, Mary. I'll let you shower, but please stop doing this, you know? You're already banned from 2 locations. Like, please stop doing this here. I have somewhere to be. Literally, after 30 minutes is still in there. And I'm like, Mary, I'm about to turn the lights off. And she's like, no. I'm like, Mary, my manager is asking me why I'm still here because I should have been gone an hour ago. Like, I'm going to turn the lights off. Mind you, this lady at a different location had gotten left in the gym after close, after dark, while all the doors were locked and no one was there. Because she would just be in the locker room not telling anyone she was there and hiding so that we wouldn't tell her to leave. Like, what? All right, so finally I'm over it. I turn off the lights and I hear her screaming bloody murder, like someone had just taken her cat and fried it up. Really screams out to me, I'm naked, turn the lights back on. I'm like, Mary, you should not still be naked. Like, it has been an hour. At this point, she's telling me to turn the lights back on so she can find her clothes. So I tell her, you got 2 seconds, I've turned the lights back on. So I turn them back on, and then I turn them back off. Did you find your clothes? Okay. She runs out of the locker room up to me at the front desk, butt-ass naked. Butt-ass naked. And she starts screaming at me, and I'm like looking at her, and I go, what are you doing? Why are you butt naked out here? She's like cursing me out, and then finally starts trying to come behind the counter like she's about to try to like get with me. I'm like, Mary, I'm calling the police. And she's like, and runs out to her car, butt-ass naked, drives away. Butt-ass naked, drives away. Obviously, in this situation, I ban her from the gym. But at the gym I work at, it's all franchises. So like bans in one part of the franchise doesn't equal a ban in a different franchise. So she goes to the different franchise. To this day, she's still naked, Mary. She still goes around traumatizing gym employees. Literally hear about it still to this day from people that work at gyms that I used to work at. She's really learned how to finesse the system. I don't know how she's allowed in any gyms or like in public. So obviously my job is like telling stories about my life, which happens to sometimes be people I dated. And if you didn't know, I still live in my hometown, which means I run into these people frequently. Also means that a lot of people dislike me greatly. As you guys know, I've been on my little gym journey. And for some reason, my life has been filled with gym bros. Like, I always end up with a gym bro. Don't know why that is. It's really a fucking sickness. I'm ill in the head. I happened to do a story time a couple weeks ago on the worst ever person I ever dated, the first time I ever got cheated on, blah, blah, blah. It all happened to be the same guy. Who, by the way, I have not heard of or spoken to or even seen in years. Like, years. So why wouldn't that video go viral the same week that I end up running into him at the gym? I'm getting ready to go to the gym right now because I love to look like a bad bitch at the gym. Ultimately, I have to, because if I'm gonna run into people I'm talking shit about online, I have to at least look good. Now, I ran into him at the gym, and I'm not even kidding, like, I slandered this man. I fried him up on a grill and served him to you guys. Not that he didn't deserve it, like, he fully deserved it. How embarrassing is that? For me, for him, for us, you know? Of course, I do not go up to him. I'm not saying a word to him because, like, I don't want to. Ew, like, what? But about a day later, I see him viewing my story on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, word, like, I just may have unleashed a beast. But here's the thing. If you see my story on Instagram, you probably have caught up on the fact that this is my job now. You've probably clicked on my TikTok and seen the fact that my video about you has gone viral. Truth be told, do I really care? No, but it is kind of funny going in public settings and being like, am I going to see someone I slandered online today? Probably. But honestly, I've always been messy like this. I really love an elephant in the room. I really love to address thy elephant in thy room. So does it bother me that much? No, it's kind of just in my nature. I'm a Gemini. What can I say?
If you don't have a boyfriend, you might as well just scroll past us. Or stay, I don't mind. But you know when your boyfriend's out of town for a while and you get to first, like, hang out? You know what I'm saying? Top 10 feelings, for sure. And of course I have to look like all cutesy because I haven't seen my man in forever. So like we must be a showstopper. But I look at all the breakouts around my mouth. Like I have no idea what has been going on here. Also I recently got a tan in, so look at my concealer. It doesn't really match. You know, if I'm 100% being straight with all, my boyfriend has only been gone for 4 days. But you know, when you see him every day, low-key feels like a lifetime. And like, you know when you miss your boyfriend and you're just like mean? I don't know, maybe that's just me, but like it can't be because I see TikToks about it all the time. And you know what I've learned? If it's on TikTok, like everyone feels that way. Oh my gosh, I was like, why is it so dark? My lights weren't on. Pretty sure me and my boyfriend are just going out to eat. Probably Panda Express because like we go there literally every day. Or at least I do. I think I have a really bad addiction. It's like bad. And I got my mom onto Panda Express too. So like now there's no escape. There's no one to show me the way out. Like I'm just stuck in Panda Land. That's what I call it. I'm just kidding. I've never said that in my life. Anyway, long story short, I just want to look good. And that's what we are doing. And usually, you know, like, I am not the one to look good for my boyfriend. I mean, today I am, but usually I'm looking good for other people. It sounds way worse than it is, but I mean, like, I want to look like a pretty girlfriend. Like, my boyfriend, he already has me. He already knows what I look like. Like, you know what I mean? But, like, other people need to think that he has a pretty girlfriend and that, like, he pulled. You know what I'm saying? Well, actually, low-key, I slid up on him, which, that's a story for another time. My ADHD is really kicking in today. I don't even know what I'm going to wear today, but I really wanted to wear this shirt. I already had mascara on from work this morning, so I'm just touching up the lashes. I'm pretty sure today, working, I got in 5 episodes of the show I'm watching, so that was really nice. Okay, anyway, I'm out of eyebrow gel, so I might go and buy that today. I'm gonna make my boyfriend buy it. It's like $3. I do have a gift card to Ulta though, but I think I'm pretty much ready. I forgot highlighter. I don't know what to do with my hair right now because I just washed it, so it's a little crazy. And then for lips, I've been using this YSL Candy Glaze. Literally, look how perfect the color is. Boom. Okay, for hair, I really don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna do those little braids everywhere. Okay, turns out my bangs are like way too short to do that. Like, what is that? That's the best I could do. All right, I've never done this before, but I'm braiding all over. Okay, once again, my hair is just not all equal. Okay, great. Now my hair is just like in a knot. Okay, this will be my 3rd braid. This might look insane. I don't know. Okay, this just looks horrible. I'm taking them out. Yeah, so I actually don't know what to do with my hair. I'm just trying not to put heat on it, but honestly, I might just wear it down. So I guess I'm ready. Here's the fit that I'm wearing. I'll probably end up changing or doing my hair differently in the next 30 minutes, but for now I'm ready. So I hope you guys have a good day. Peace out. Love you. Bye.
Am I wrong for leaving all of my groceries at the register when the cashier refused to sell me alcohol? Abundance and Bounty are 2 supermarket chains, both with stores 20 minutes away from me and 15 minutes apart from each other. I, 33 male, usually go to Abundance unless I want something I can only get at Bounty, and I haven't been asked for ID when buying alcohol in over 8 years at either store, or anywhere else for that matter. I went to Abundance yesterday to buy my weekly groceries and picked up a 6-pack of beer to enjoy on the weekend. I set the beers down in front of my other groceries on the conveyor belt, then moved to the other side to start packing. The cashier saw the beer and asked me for ID. I told him I didn't have any ID on me, and he told me he couldn't sell me the beer and place it on the side. I politely said, "Okay, no problem, have a nice day," and then walked away, leaving all of my groceries on the conveyor belt. I didn't take anything. As I walked away, he shouted, "Excuse me, sir," but I saw no reason to waste time on continuing a discussion because he already made his decision, and I understand how strict they need to be when it comes to alcohol and ID. My mother worked in a liquor store for several years. To be very clear, I did not do this to get back at him, but rather because it meant I needed to go to Bounty to get the beer, and it didn't make sense to drag all of my heavy grocery items from Abundance to Bounty when I could just get the same groceries from Bounty, including the beer. I also figured carrying bags of groceries from Abundance around Bounty wasn't wise because it might raise suspicion of shoplifting. So I went from Abundance to Bounty, bought everything I needed from Bounty, including the beer, then went home. When I got back, my girlfriend asked why it took so long, and after explaining it, she said I was an asshole for making things difficult for the staff at Abundance, because they would need to restock all of my stuff and possibly throw things away. I don't know if the last part is true, but she knows someone who works in a similar store and explained that they're pretty strict on how long certain products are allowed to be outside the freezer and refrigerators. She also said it was extremely rude that I just walked away when the cashier was trying to talk to me. I asked what she would have done, but she didn't have an answer besides just coming home without the beer, but I don't see that as a solution. So, am I the asshole?
My ex left me at the altar and now he wants me back. Story time. So my ex-fiance, who we'll call Steve, just completely disappeared the morning of our wedding 2 years ago. He literally would not answer the phone to anyone, not even his own family. It was absolutely devastating. And I refer to this part of my life as the soul-crushing era. We ended up turning the wedding reception into a bit of a party to help me distract myself from the absolute pain of losing my fiance. After the reception, I went back to our apartment and I slept on the bathroom floor in my wedding dress. Listen, don't judge, okay? We've all been there, alright? We've all been there. So the next day, Steve's mum actually came to my apartment and she told me that Steve had actually run off with one of his exes. Steve and his ex had apparently reconnected a week before the wedding and apparently he just couldn't go through with it after that. So yeah, instead of marrying me, Steve decides he's going to rekindle his relationship with his ex. His family was absolutely horrified and I didn't hear from him in 3 months. You were supposed to marry me and now you're not going to talk to me for 3 months. Alright, Steve. So when he eventually called me, he told me that his ex had been hiding a child from him. And he decided the best thing to do would be to step up and be a father. At this point, I was so far past it, I'd been through a lot of therapy and I just had nothing to say to him. So this all happened about a year ago, which brings me to today. So after a lot of self-improvement and a lot of me rebuilding my self-esteem, I decided I was going to move to the UK. So last night I got a message request on Instagram and it was from Steve. He was basically saying, "Hi, I heard you moved to England and I think it'd be really good for us to connect when I travel there this year." I still have no clue how he knew that I'd moved. He was saying how he wanted to discuss what happened on the lead up to the wedding. He was like, "I hope I'm not overwhelming you, but let me know if you want to talk over lunch sometime." But I don't think I'm even at the point anymore where I crave closure. That's really hard to say, crave closure. But I also don't want to decline and then later on regret my decision. So what do you think I should do?